welcome to a new episode of the Rebel Radio podcast. And this is Mark.
This is Matt.
And yeah, man, it's I don't know, man. This week went by kind of fast. It feels like we just did a show and now we're doing another show. And
I feel like that too.
But did we record Saturday? Is that why? I can't remember.
No, that was the previous week. We recorded
No, that was the week we recorded Sunday.
We recorded Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So it's maybe that's what it was. But I guess it's also been kind of I don't know, not really a busy week. I guess it just went by faster than expected the week after a holiday.
Yeah.
But no, that's okay. I'm glad to be here. Glad to record and bring a new episode to the peoples of across the world. You know, we have people that have listened to us in Canada. We've had people listen to us like in India. I mean, you know, so we have fans everywhere, even if it's only 40 people. So we still have 40 fans spread across the world. Yeah.
There's one person in Austria. And I think it's like Arnold's brother or something.
It could be. It could be Arnold's brother. You know, Arnold he has a podcast too, doesn't he? I think it's tied to his. I think it's tied to his Pump newsletter. I think he does have like a podcast.
I think so.
So I mean, who doesn't have a podcast? Everyone, dude. I mean, everyone.
There was a Ron Burgundy podcast.
Yeah, I remember Will Ferrell was doing that for a while.
Yeah,
and you know, yeah.
I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was. Thing. Yeah. You just have one. Yeah. Everyone wants to be Kevin Smith, man.
Yeah, or what's the I can't think of his name. The other famous dude, Rogan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rogan. Yep.
Yeah. And but you know it's okay. I mean, you know, I'm cool with it. I 100% support anybody who wants to do a podcast. Go for it, man. If you're thinking about doing it and you're like, I'm on the fence about everybody's got a podcast, fuck that. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, you want to give yourself a voice. You want to talk about something, go do it, man.
Yeah, do your thing. You know? It could be a good outlet for you.
Yeah.
You
know? We know we're not getting thousands of listeners and we're not famous, but this is an outlet for us. Exactly what it is. We enjoy doing it. And I mean, here we are, almost 400 episodes. And I mean, heck, with our special episodes we did in the Star Wars podcast, we're close to 400. I mean, you know, so
yeah,
and we're going on almost 10 years, and we've got plenty to say still. I mean, we've talked about, you know, is there an end to it one day, and maybe there is, but I mean, every time we think we're slowing down. There's plenty of movies we haven't done, plenty to talk about, and as long as we have that drive and enjoy it, I can see us going another possibly 400. Who knows? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take us 10 years to get to 400 this time because those early years we were doing maybe an episode a month here and there, so it was a little bit different.
Yeah, that one was just we didn't have the schedule down like we do now. We're very more consistent
now, which is crazy that we're more organized now because our lives are more chaotic now with kids and stuff. But
yeah,
you learn to control.
Weird how that works out. Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, you learn to deal with it once you got all kinds of stuff going on. You're just like, all right, it's just one more thing.
Yeah, that's it, man. But man, I had a productive week actually. Watched a few things.
Cool.
You know, I watched. I had started when I said I started a couple weeks ago. I'd only watched like the first 20 minutes, but I finished David Fincher's The Killer. Man, you know, I didn't hate it. It's not like Gone Girl hate or anything. I didn't love it either. I'm kind of in the middle on it. My thing with Fincher is I feel his best movies are behind him. All his best stuff was early in his career. And now he's just kind of making movies I wouldn't say he's making movies for a paycheck because I do think he has a passion and he cares, but I just think he's not as good as he used to be, if that makes sense. The best part about The Killer is Michael Fassbender. He's great in it. The first hour it's a drag, man. I'm like, is anything going to happen in this fucking movie? And then in the second hour, it essentially becomes a revenge flick, where he goes out for revenge on the people that set him up. And there's some cool moments. The ending didn't quite land for me. I was a little disappointed with the way it ended. But it's not the best Fincher, but not the worst Fincher. Like I said, I like it better than Gone Girl. But it's still not Seven, Fight Club, The Game, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's not those levels, you know, of David Fincher. So it's more middle of the road.
Okay.
So, you know, I think it's
hard
worth
to beat those films.
Yeah. I think it's worth a watch. I mean, if you're looking for something to watch, I'd sit down and give it a watch. I mean, it's got a good performance. I mean, you're paying for Netflix anyways. Might as well watch it,
Yeah, might as well watch some new shit on it versus releases,
And it's got some cool moments. There's a really good fight in the middle of the movie, or kind of in the middle. That's pretty cool, where he fights this big old Samoan dude. And but it's I just was hoping for better, I guess, but I didn't hate it. I think people were maybe expecting it to be like the Mind of this Killer type deal, but it's more about just an assassin who's kind of going for revenge after he's set up, and that's kind of what it becomes. But not bad. I watched this afternoon, actually. It's on Amazon Prime. It's Bye Bye Barry, which is a documentary about Barry Sanders and why he retired.
Yeah.
Really well done. And, it talks good interviews with Barry and coaches and people that played with him. And, for people that don't know, Barry Sanders is one of the greatest running backs that ever played the game. And he called it quit after 10 years, and people were just shocked. He didn't tell anybody why. He didn't even have a fancy press conference. He just like, I'm done. And, he was 1,500 yards away from breaking Walter Payton's rushing record, which he would have easily gotten, barring no injury.
Yeah.
People believed he could have played another 5 or 6 years. He was only 31 years old. And, but he just decided I was done. And the documentary goes into that a bit, and how he just, the drive wasn't there for him. It was quite that simple. He just, he talked a little bit about he says just too easy to blame the losing in Detroit. I'm not going to do that. It's not fair to the people of Detroit and the owners and stuff. He goes, I just didn't have the drive. That was basically
he was like the only reason they would go, to watch football on Sundays.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, he was the offense.
People were pissed off at him that he left that way he did it. But, I think people understood after a while, they understood, and he of course went to the Hall of Fame and is one of the best ever lived. He's still a lot of top 5 stats and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like him and Emmitt Smith, we'll probably never see him again. It's just like in baseball, you're not going to get pitchers that are going to throw 250 innings anymore.
Dude, yeah.
And you're not going to get running back. Yeah, you're not getting running backs.
108 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're not going to get running backs who are going to go 2,000 yards in a season, or even barely 1,200 yards.
I think the closest we got was Adrian Peterson. As of like recent years, and now I don't know.
It's just a different game, and but it's good. It's on Amazon Prime, and I watched it. It's called Bye Bye Barry. Pretty well done documentary, and man, I feel I'm like something's escaping me that I fucking watch. I do this all the time. I'm like, man, I know I watched something. I don't remember.
Monarch.
Well, I'm getting to that in a minute.
Oh, okay, because I watched the first one, so I can
slow down there.
Yeah,
slow down there, because I have a reason I'm leading into that, because I know you saw something else that we're going to briefly discuss. But I'm trying to think, did I watch any more Scott Pilgrim? I haven't. I think I tried to sit down and watch episode 6. I only have 3 episodes left, and I think I watched like 15 minutes of it and then got distracted, and I think I need to finish that because I want to finish that anime because it's pretty good. But yeah, man. Well, I did. The kids watched Blue Beetle, so I kind of rewatched some of that, and I had a hard time watching it the second time. I was like,
yeah.
It's like, I've been there, done that. I enjoyed it the first time, but the second time, I'm like, I don't really need to watch this again, Exactly. But the boys are watching it, and I was like, and I tried to watch some of it with them, and just couldn't really get into it, And but yes, I did watch the first episode of Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters, which is the Godzilla TV show that takes place in the same universe as the current incarnation of American Godzilla films put out by Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures. And I texted Long asking why it's on Apple TV, because he's our resident Godzilla expert, and he was like, the deal happened before Warner Brothers sold off Legendary. And before Max was a thing. This deal was made a couple of years ago, before they were going to have exclusive deals with Max. And then, of course, the strikes hit and everything else. And so the show had already been planned for Apple TV. Because I thought it was weird why Warner Brothers wouldn't have this on their own streaming service on Max. And that was why it was a deal they had made prior to Max's launch and all that stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's on Apple TV. And I watched the first episode, and I've been trying so hard to sit down and go watch episodes 2 and 3 because episode 4 comes out tomorrow. Because it's a lot of setup in the first episode, but like it's really intriguing, good setup. I like what it's done so far. I wonder how much budget-wise, how much monster action they're going to have in this, even though they had quite a bit in the first episode, but it's all retconned monster action. We don't see Godzilla currently. It's kind of retconned to what happened in the Godzilla movie we just covered a couple weeks ago, where they introduced the female character from it, and that she was in San Francisco during the attacks. So they kind of retcon some of that. And the story goes back and forth and looks like the beginnings of Monarch in the 1950s, was it, or 60s? Maybe 60s or 70s, around there.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. And with a young Kurt Russell's son playing a young version of himself, Wyatt Russell. And then Kurt Russell, I guess, is going to appear in the second episode because he does appear in the first episode. And he'll play the older version of his same self, his son plays. And so there's kind of a back and forth story between 2014-15, right after the Battle of San Francisco, and the creations of Monarch. And we'll see how it all comes together. But so far, I like it. I'm always down for some good monster action. In fact, by the time y'all hear this podcast, I will have gone to see Godzilla -1. And we're going to have a full report next week. And I think the plan is for our Godzilla expert Long to join us next week.
Yeah.
And talk it. And I know you saw it already, so you're going to give a very brief review.
Yeah.
And you're going to save going into it next week on the show when I've seen it and Long has been joining us. But so I'll lead that into you and what your thoughts on Monarch are so far.
Yeah, I think Monarch is interesting. It's not one of these prequel or expansion series where it's trying to play. I feel like a lot of these just try and play off of the movie they're based off of, and they don't do a good job of executing what they were set out to do. But this one, I feel like is doing a good job.
I feel it complements the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except, not to interrupt you, but like, where she's in Tokyo and they have the Godzilla alarms and they all go into the bunker. Like, so this is supposed to take place before King of the Monsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in King of the Monsters, it made it sound like Godzilla had been dormant for a couple of years, right? And he comes back to help them fight Rodan and all the other monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So why the alarms? Hopefully they explain that at some point. Because it's like, wait, is this a thing? Godzilla shows up and destroys buildings?
Yeah.
That part had me a little confused.
Yeah, there's some things that are kind of like, okay, this doesn't make sense. But I feel like the acting and the story and the action, at the end of episode 1 especially is good. And I think if you haven't started watching it or haven't thought about watching it, definitely at least watch the first episode, see what you think. Mm-hmm. It sets some stuff up, and there's definitely some good action in the first episode. Even it's not all talk.
I had read something where someone said, well, why the Ken Watanabe's character, why wasn't he her father? And someone made a point that he was a scientist and he was a good man. He would not have estranged himself from his family. He just wasn't that type of man. So it makes sense for him not to be her father, because he never struck you as that type of a man that would have estranged himself from his family. So it didn't make sense for him to be her father. That would have been it would have been kind of out of character.
Yeah. At the expense of, just trying to tie it in more.
Tie it together. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't take the low hanging fruit and do that. But yeah, I need to watch episode 2 and 3. That way I can get caught up. But that's on my plate for probably next week. Next week I'll get caught up.
Yeah. So you were able, I mean, I don't know how you do this sometimes, squeeze movies in during the week. And so I just can't fucking do it, man. With work and feeding the kids and all that. But I know you have the wife hack too.
The wife hack.
You can leave at home and, hey, you make dinner. I'm going to see a fucking movie. It's not fair, man. And so I know you went and saw Godzilla -1 tonight. And I'm going to see it Saturday. And so we're going to have a full-on review next week. But initial brief thoughts.
Yeah. So initial brief thoughts. I think the hype about it is well warranted. I say buy into it. Also, I feel like this is a complete Godzilla movie in the way that a lot of these Godzilla films that I've seen, it's either like really, really good monster action and monster stuff, but like the human side is like so ignored that and neglected that it doesn't make
It's hard
sense.
to find that good mix.
Yeah, or it's vice versa. Too much human stuff, not enough monster. I feel like this is like, wow, both of them really good. It's hard to do both. And yeah, man, Godzilla's great. The humans are great. Go see it. It's worth it. And then the translation felt like the way it's translated. It doesn't go by too fast. It's not like the letters aren't, too tiny. Yeah. I feel like it's easy to, follow along. And it's easy to understand, and the themes are great, and they will get you thinking, and they will keep you engaged with the film. So go see it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Cool, man. Did you check anything else out this week?
No, other than Godzilla. I don't. Yeah, Godzilla and Monarch, and then rewatching Blue Beetle. That was it.
You sat on your ass this week, man.
I did, man.
Sorry ass. Yeah, I want to look real quick because I feel like I watched something else, and my brain is just escaping me, or maybe I didn't, man. I did try to watch that TV miniseries, The Fall of the House of Usher, that's getting rave reviews on Netflix, and not my thing. I got about 15. Mark Hamill's in it, but I got about 15 minutes into it. I'm like, this is boring.
Really? Mark Hamill's in it?
Yeah. And I was like, nah, I couldn't get into it. Just not my thing. Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit of news, man. I'm going to save the news that hit today for last because it was awesome. But Tim Burton released a photo, I guess, and Beetlejuice 2 it's a thing. Its production's done. It's still coming out in 2024. I guess it only had like 2 or 3 days left to shoot when the strikes hit. So they did their 2 or 3 days, and it's weird. Jenna Ortega's in it, and which feels like they're going to try to make her the new goth girl, I guess, because she was Wednesday Addams and everything. And so, man, Beetlejuice is one of those things that, like, we did on the podcast, a few years back, and I just don't love it, man. It's okay, I don't need a sequel.
Yeah, we don't. Not of that film.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those legacy sequels. It's just like, and Tim Burton. The only thing I can say about it is Tim Burton and Michael Keaton both obviously don't need to do this for their career. So I guess they're doing it for fun, something, so with them, maybe, hey, they want to do it. They want to have fun doing it. Cool. Because neither one need to do it, so we'll see, man, how this turns out. And I don't know when it's due. I guess later in 2024, I believe. Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which actually got better reviews than a lot of people said. Eli Roth announced today or yesterday that he is going to make a Thanksgiving too.
Oh,
it'll be out in 2 years. So he said he had a lot of fun making it one of the more fun movies he did in his career, and so he has some ideas for a second one, and he had talked about he had done sequels to like Hostel in the past, and he felt like sequels weren't really always the best idea, but he says he has a good idea for this one, and he thinks he can make it work. So if you enjoyed Thanksgiving 1, you'll get Thanksgiving 2, more turkey. I don't know.
More turkey.
And this next August, man, this is the thing too. There's gonna be a lot of Alien next year. We have FX's Alien TV series is still happening.
Yeah.
Which is going to have Timothy Olyphant in it now. And this Alien Romulus movie is still happening too. And it's coming out next August. And
Romulus.
One of the actresses that's in it revealed that it takes place between Alien and Aliens. But apparently it's not really a sequel to Alien. It's like a counter event kind of going on in the same time frame at the same time. Because she even confirmed that the aliens kind of look like they did in James Cameron's Aliens. They're that style of xenomorphs, which sounds like a cool idea, but yet it has not related to Ripley's character or anything like that. It's like a new thing. But I also sometimes wonder, are they trying to throw us off the grid a little bit? And maybe Ripley's in this thing. But at the same time, if it takes place between Alien and Aliens, it wouldn't make sense for Ripley to be in it since she's clearly in cryo sleep when Aliens starts, So we'll see. But man, it's if you're an Alien fan, it seems like it's going to be a good year, I'm a fan of the franchise. I've always loved it. I just think to me, the Alien franchise is a lot like the Terminator franchise. There's some good stuff and there's some missteps, in it.
Exactly.
Alien Resurrection was, even though people are coming around Alien Resurrection now, I always felt like it was a misstep. I like Prometheus, but Covenant was kind of Covenant was just confusing. I wasn't sure what was going on through half the fucking movie.
Yeah.
I've watched it like twice and I'm still not sure what the android David was doing. Like, was he creating an alien? I'm like, I don't know. That whole thing was really kind of bizarre.
That's what I thought he was doing. I thought he was creating one.
Yeah, they make it sound like the engineers created aliens, but then in Prometheus anyway, and then they throw you for a loop in Covenant, and it's like, oh, wait, no, the engineers didn't do it. David created them. It's like, wait, it was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. Great looking films, Alien, Covenant, and Prometheus. We really started directing them, and the films look great, but both films are kind of like, and then of course we have the classics with Alien and Aliens. So we'll see what Alien Romulus does, even though Romulus sounds like a fucking Star Trek movie,
Romulan.
Yeah, so we'll see. But man, this trailer, there's the movie cinema conventions going on this weekend. A lot of people expect a few trailers this weekend. I strongly believe that the trailer for Godzilla versus Kong is going to hit some point this weekend, and a few other trailers. But they released a trailer today for Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which is the long in the works. I guess you can't call it a follow-up to Fury Road because it's a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, telling the story of a young Furiosa, which was played by why is her name escaping me?
Anne Taylor-Joy?
No, that's who's playing her in this.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, who played her in the Mad Max Fury Road movie. So this is a prequel starring Anna Taylor-Joy, who I guess is the new hot girl of the moment. I really don't know who she is, to be honest.
Princess Peach?
Well, yeah, I knew she did the voice, but I mean, overall, I just don't, know.
Last Night in Soho.
So, man, but, it's from George Miller, who had plans for 2 Mad Max films at one point. One was this film, and one was called The Wasteland, which is a direct sequel to Fury Road. And George says he still wants to do The Wasteland. In fact, he hopes he can do it soon, and it might be his final film. As he wants to retire. He is older. So I hope The Wasteland gets made because I really want to see one more Mad Max film with Tom Hardy. But nonetheless, Furiosa looks freaking incredible. I mean, the trailer hit today. It looks exactly what we'd expect from a George Miller follow-up to Mad Max Fury Road. Chris Hemsworth is in the film too. It just, I watched the trailer a couple times. It's visually stunning, outstanding looking. It looks, I don't want to use the term like lightning in the bottle twice, but I'm hoping that that's what George Miller is able to do.
I hope so, and it looks like it could be. I don't know if it'll be right there on par with Fury Road. It's a hard follow up. Yeah, those are big shoes to fill. But I know it's going to be good, and we'll be entertained. It looks pretty epic.
Yeah, oh for sure. So can't wait, man. I didn't look when the release date is. I think it's like in May, I believe.
2024.
Yeah. I want to say it's a Memorial Day weekend release, if I remember right. So
that's going to be cool.
Cool shit, man.
How people are going to be dressing at Comic-Con now.
Yeah.
George
Miller's had an interesting career. He's did the Mad Max films, but he also did Babe, Pig in the City. So very, very versatile director. Definitely a visionary. That's all the news, man. For this week. So, but if you haven't checked out the Furiosa trailer, definitely do so if you're a fan of the Mad Max series. So, let's get into today's feature film, man. This is a movie that James Cameron started trying to adapt to the screen as far back as like 92, 93. But then he started writing Avatar films, and if if you believe Cameron, he said he had the idea for Avatar as early as '93, but we know the first drafts for Avatar were shortly after Titanic came out in early 2000.
Yeah.
Of course, Avatar got made in 2008, and so he had Battle Angel on his back burner for many years. His writing a script for it based on the manga. There was an anime of Battle Angel that was slightly well received, I guess, but very difficult to find now.
Yeah, it's not one of those animes that's like, Yu Yu Hakusho or
Right.
Witch Hunter Robin, where you're like, oh, I heard about it, but I haven't checked it out. You either knew about it or you didn't. It's it's kind of an esoteric anime.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of people knew about it, which is kind of good because I think that's how these movies, worked a little bit better.
Right. But the manga is extremely popular. The initial version was 9 volumes, which is what this movie is based on, the first 3 volumes. And then there was a follow-up manga years later. I think there's been 3 chapters, total now in the manga, about 27 volumes or so, if I remember right. And but so Cameron, was talking to various directors, and I guess he was sitting down talking to Robert Rodriguez, and he told Robert Rodriguez, hey, if you can finish the script, and my studio will help finance it, we'll get it made. It's basically how this came about. And Robert Rodriguez took the initial script, which was really long. The movie would have been 4 hours, and he toned it down to a movie that works. And James Cameron liked the script, and realized that the script cut some of the things out, because basically this tells, like I said, the first 3 volumes or so of the story, and then so it's set up to, if there's a trilogy. And he told Robert Rodriguez to run with it, and so eventually the movie got made, and that's Alita Battle Angel, which was jokingly originally called Battle Angel Alita, and the producer was like, no, James Cameron only makes movies that start with A's or T's: Terminator, Titanic, Aliens. You have to call it Alita. So that's really how the title came about. It's kind of an inside joke, and they got the great Christoph Waltz involved with this. Marshala Ali playing in, Jennifer Connelly. Got a lot of great actresses involved in this, and a relatively newcomer to come in and play Alita. And they put together a film that is quite possibly, I was really thinking about this when I was watching it the other day, the best live action adaptation of a manga anime, I think, so far.
Yeah.
And this is a really solid film, and to tell the story in the future after a massive war between the Urn of Mars and Earth. They call it, I guess we were living in the skies. We had built sky cities because the Earth is overpopulated, is what I kind of gather from it.
Mm-hmm.
And they attack our sky cities, and a lot of them fall out of the sky, destroying much of the planet. Only one sky city remains, which has become like the Mecca to escape to. And the crazy thing about this is there's a ton going on in this movie. I mean, there's cyborgs, there's this whole living world that is not like anything you've ever seen before. It's not even apocalyptic. It's just super futuristic. I mean, more futuristic than movies like RoboCop or any other futuristic, even The Fifth Element, just more futuristic than any movies you've probably ever seen. And it's crazy watching this to think that this movie was made for like $190 million, because I know a lot of movies are expensive, but holy shit, Alita looks super expensive on screen. Like, this looks like a $400 million movie. I mean, that's just how much is going on in the backgrounds and the graphics and just the way the screen portrays things.
Well, it was said that in just one of her eyes, Alita's eyes, it took more CGI than the whole character of Gollum in Lord of the Rings.
I believe it. So give this movie a quick summary, man. I kind of gave the background of the movie about the war and all that, and
like you said, and Dr. Ito finds Alita's head, and finds that she's still alive, puts her in his dead daughter's body that he was going to have for her, because his daughter was
her cyborg body.
Cyborg
that sounded kind of terrible.
Cyborg body, because his daughter was paraplegic and tragically killed, which you find out later. Alita starts to wonder who she is, and through combat, whilst protecting her would-be father in Dr. Ito, as he was hunting down a bounty. He is a hunter-killer. There's a sect of hunter-killers. They're basically bounty hunters. and she unlocks some of her past and her fighting style while she is protecting him while he is executing one of his bounties. And so she becomes a hunter-killer, and she wants to find out more about herself. And she, gets into this whole underworld. Marshala Ali is basically runs the games, this RoboBall game that is introduced. And that's the only way to get up to the top, to the floating city, the Sky City, is that. And he is being controlled by a man called Nova, who's played by Edward Norton, and very not very utilized very often.
An uncredited Edward Norton.
Yeah.
He kind of did this as a he wanted to do uncredited. He goes, I want to do this movie, but I don't want to take anything away from the other actors in the movie.
Yeah,
he did it on purpose,
and he doesn't. Yeah. He's only revealed at the very end. So she realizes that he is the enemy. And then he realizes that one of her own kind, is still alive. She's actually 300 years old, turns out, in this journey to find out who she is and what her purpose is. And, she is connected with a Earn technology body after her body is destroyed when she fights the Rorschach actor's big old badass mech. And she joins a rollerball competition to which she has to, really, really vacate because Nova's hired some people to take out her human boyfriend, who kind of looks like, and her, but he wants to get at her boyfriend because he wants to crush her. The guy played Ajax from Deadpool. Forget his name.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Ed Screen.
Yeah, something like that.
He's Zapan, but he's a fully cybernetic, except for his face. He's kind of a dick, like he is in a lot of these, movies that you see him in.
Dick. Yeah.
In the original manga, he kills the boyfriend, and she finds him, but his head's still intact. So she keeps him alive by putting him in a cyborg body, and he loses it. He can't handle being in a cyborg body, so he kills himself. In this movie, they make it more romantic, which is fine because, like I said, esoteric anime, you don't have a whole lot of fans that are like, "Whoa, that's not how it happened." But after losing him, she was able to get Ito to, to put him in a robot body, and she goes and, where did she go? She goes to confront Marshall Ali's character. I can't think of his name right now, his actual character's name. But Nova talks to him through him, and she shows how much of a badass she is. Takes out Grusheka. Grusheka is the Rorschach actor.
Vector is Ali's character.
Yeah, Vector. And she takes out Vector. And Vector, says, hey, just because I can't get to you doesn't mean I can't get to somebody else. And he sends Centurions to get her boyfriend. And he's trying to walk all the way up the cable tunnel to the Sky City when he sends out a defense loop. Fucking shreds her boyfriend. And she loses him, and she embraces her combatness and becomes a rollerball player. And hopefully we get a sequel where we see that she becomes a champion.
Right. Yeah, man. First off, this movie is a amalgam of all kinds of things we grew up reading and watching, and just futurism, cyborgs, super robots, super soldiers, and so therefore it oozes coolness, because this is a freaking really cool movie.
Cyber dogs,
dude. Yeah, that's the weird
cyber
part.
Arms.
These directors always have their friends that appear in movies. And Robert Rodriguez is friends with Jeff Fahey, so he puts Jeff Fahey in this as the dog guy. Yeah. And for a brief moment, it kind of takes me out of the movie. I'm like all the actors in this movie are super young except for Christoph Waltz, and then Jeff Fahey's old ass appears, and it's just like, why is he in this movie? Oh, that's right, he's friends with Robert Rodriguez. But it's cool, this part is cool. And there's just, and that's what I like about this movie, just the look of it, man. It's like if I'm making futuristic movies, every futuristic movie would look like this,
Yeah.
just full of futurism and badassness, and I think that's why they took the manga and they put it on screen and it shows. And this is like, if they ever make an Akira live action movie, it better look like this. If you're going to make Akira, it's got to look this good.
Yeah, you have your slums, you have your nicer part of town. You've got, friggin' robots, you've got cyborgs, you've got, half cyborg, half human, you got all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, this world that they built.
And with all this craziness going on, Christoph Waltz's character of Dr. Ito really brings a humanism to it, because he's trying to do the right thing. His meaning to right. We find out he's a hunter killer, but he's doing it because he believes that he's doing to fund his business and his projects and things like that. And so it's kind of
trying to help people,
a bit of nobility to him, even if it maybe be frowned upon, I guess. And he's ultimately trying to make up for what happened to his daughter. He's trying to help people the best he can, because he seems to have some guilt from that, and he's Christoph Waltz is always so good on screen, and he's really good in this. And then when I'm watching this, I'm thinking how much green screen these actors are working against, but they all really give good performances. And strange, because Robert Rodriguez as a director is a guy who's made, the Desperado films and the Spy Kid films, and he's not always known for maybe he's known for quick films. He films them quickly, quick editing. Yeah, this is one of the only film he's ever done that he didn't edit himself. And I can't help but think it helps Rodriguez to have other people help him, because this might be the most complete movie he's made. And I enjoy Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the movies he's made, Machete and stuff. But this movie,
you can tell it's way different. Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way. It still has Robert Rodriguez signatures to it. Don't get me wrong, with his directing style and things like that. But it's just to have more people help him make the film made it a better movie.
Mm-hmm. And then Alita, I feel like Alita is the workhorse in this film. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the film's about her. She carries this film. One, they use a lot of techniques, the old Disney and anime technique.
But yet the young actress, who played her, even with all the CGI on her, her performance still comes across on the screen very well.
Yeah. Well, her character, she literally starts from the garbage. She is a castaway. So she starts at the bottom, and you want her to do well. You're rooting for her. She saves a little dog, kind of like Aladdin, when he jumps in front of the chariot and saves the little kid, so they're making her have all these redeemable qualities and these good qualities. And, she's not, you don't view her as a weapon, really. She is a weapon.
But not till late in the movie.
Yeah. You're like, wow, she's a good person, even though she's a cyborg. She's got this, very, very human attitude. And, you root for her the whole time. So she kind of keeps you engaged in the movie. And I feel like she's what makes it obviously the most enjoyable, as she should, because the movie's got her name in it. She got to.
Yeah. Well, I like that too. There's a sweet innocence about her. Like you say, you watch her grow up in the film. And what I like too is this movie does a lot. Like she forms a relationship with Hugo, and Hugo doesn't care that she's a cyborg, but yet he falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him. And the movie does a good job by they don't overplay it. It simply is what it is.
Yeah.
And you buy into their relationship as a viewer because of the way they do develop their two characters, and they do a good job of that, because this movie could have easily done the thing that they do in sci-fi sometimes, or, is it okay to, for a robot or a part robot to love a human and all this. And in this movie, it doesn't matter. It just is what it is, because Alita herself doesn't know better. She just knows what she knows, and she cares for Hugo, and she is upset when she finds out that Hugo had been scrapping cyborg parts and stuff. But even though she's upset with him, she still tries to save him because that's love.
Yeah, man. And she even says, I'll give you my heart. I'll give you anything.
Yeah.
here's my heart. And she holds it out, and he's like, put it back.
Yeah.
Because he knows, he's been doing some bad stuff, but, he's got,
redeemable
this
qualities.
To her. Yeah, he's got redeemable qualities. And I don't think he ever wanted to do that. It was just out of, a necessity.
Trying to survive.
And like Dr. Ito said, before, this place turns people into, turns people bad sometimes. He said something along that lines, like this place changes people.
Right.
And you see that it changed Dr. Ito. It changed Hugo too.
Yeah. And the movie is just, it's got so much cool stuff in it. Like, I love all this, the tech of it, the weapons, the cyborgs. The CGI is actually pretty good. There's a few parts that may be a little bit cartoonish looking, but I think overall, it's pretty solid considering the amount of work is in this film.
Yeah.
You might have a couple of parts that might falter a little bit. My biggest hope is that we do get a sequel. Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron have both said that they plan to. Because this movie wasn't a huge hit in the U.S., but worldwide it made almost $500 million. It was very successful overseas.
Overseas is what saved this thing and helped it make double plus its budget.
And it did do well. I know physical media now, Blu-ray sales are down because everything's streaming, but this movie hit at the right time when Blu-rays were still selling well, and it did very well sales-wise.
Yeah.
It rode the charts.
Home
It did very well in home video. It was a movie that people kind of discovered late because this movie also had a weird release. It came out, I believe, in February in the U.S., which isn't the biggest time of the year for films unless it's a major, franchise or blockbuster. That's a Marvel film, something like that. So this movie kind of had an odd release window because if you remember right, this movie was supposed to be out the previous summer, and it got delayed a couple of times because they were fixing some of the CGI and doing things. So it kind of got thrown into that February release, and maybe wasn't the best time for it. But it found its audience, and I really hope that Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron are able to make a sequel.
Yeah, who knows when that movie's coming, but hopefully it's something that's in the works or at least being talked about. Maybe they're writing it. Yeah, I don't know, but
the cool thing about this is James Cameron, as much as he's named by producer, he actually was pretty involved with the set. From what I read, he was looking at dailies every day. He was calling Robert Rodriguez. He did visit the set a couple of times. A lot. This was all filmed in our backyard too. A majority of this is all filmed in Austin. When they walk through the park to visit the Urn Ship, that's that park in Austin. Oh, that goes along the river there.
Oh, yeah.
Close to Zilker
Travis
Park.
Well, or
it's not Zilker Park, but it's like Travis Wells Park or something like that. So this was all filmed in the Austin area on Robert Rodriguez's studio there. And so Cameron was very involved with this film because he wanted to make sure that it was done right too, because it was a passion project of his for many years. And so we can hope the sequel gets made. This is it's a damn good film. And the last few weeks we've done a couple of movies that we've rewatched, like V for Vendetta, and I knew The Hurt Locker was good. And now this one that I've rewatched, and they're better than I even remember them then. V for Vendetta, even Alita is better than I remembered a couple of years ago. I'm like, man, this is a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, man.
And it's not necessarily a movie for everybody. Live action anime manga might not be your thing, but if you appreciate just really kick-ass sci-fi that doesn't over-explain everything to you, it just lets this world breathe and live, and you just live in it for 2 hours, then man, it's a great science fiction movie. And I really like movies like that just throw you into the world and don't over-explain it.
Exactly. Like the ERM technology. We don't know that much about the ERM. We just know, okay, it's really good tech. And that's all you need to know.
Yeah. I think that's what makes great science fiction is sometimes you try too hard to explain stuff and it just loses the viewer. You're like, okay, I don't care. Sometimes don't take your audience for granted. Take your audience that they're smart and they can figure out or make their own conclusions. And this is one of those kind of science fiction movies. But Alita Battle Angel is it's freaking badass, man.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. She's badass.
Mm-hmm.
She's a warrior. She's a lover. She's a fighter. She's all of it. And she's well designed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a cool film. But we enjoyed it. And, so next week, man, that's all we got to say about Alita, I think.
Yeah, that's
definitely watch it. Never seen it. Next week, man, we are going to be kind of like Alita and go back to our innocence of our childhoods as we kick off a streak of 3 films to end the year. And we don't do kid films too often, but every now and then. And this film, with it being the Christmas season, children looking forward to the Christmas morning and seeing the new toys they're going to get and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we'd go back and talk what is one of the biggest modern classics of all time. To be fair, that has spawned a franchise of its own with 3 sequels, and now there's some talk that there might be a 5th one coming. But that is, we're going to go back and talk the original movie that kicked off Pixar Studios, and that is Toy Story.
Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Establish a recon post downstairs.
Code Red, repeat. We are at Code Red. Recon Plan Charlie. Execute. Move, 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 move. It's a big one.
Walt Disney Pictures presents
Star Command, come in. Do you read me?
the story of 2 toys.
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Headed for a showdown.
My name is Woody. This is my spot.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
You are a child's plaything.
You are a sad, strange little man.
And playing by their own rules.
Draw. Got me again.
I don't like confrontations.
Buzz, look, an alien.
Where?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, impressive wingspan. Very good.
Oh, what? What? You can't fly.
Yes, I can.
Can't.
Can.
Can't.
The adventure takes off when toys come to life.
To infinity and beyond.
Toy Story.
Look out!
Can.
Yeah,
And,
man. Sid.
I mean, it's a great movie, man. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I might like 3 better. I think 3 might be my favorite of them, but this is the one that kicked it off. I mean, this is the one that started a phenomenon, with Buzz and Woody toys being sold everywhere. This is one of those movies that our grandparents, know who Buzz and Woody are. It's just one of those films that's cross generations. I mean, you think this came out in 1995. I mean, I was in high school. You were, 10, 12 years old. And now we have children that have watched these movies. I mean, it's a generational film. And that's the great thing about it. And it'll be fun to watch and talk about next week. And I think Long is going to join us. So we're going to go full into Godzilla -1 also. And start kicking off our end of the year films as we get to the last week of the year. We're going to give our top 5 movies of the year and some other things as we get closer to the end of the 2023.
Yeah, man. And very well voice acted. You got, got a great cast. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Arlie Ernie, the guy from Princess Bride, where we tried to poison.
I can't think of the actor's name. I know you're talking about.
He voices Rex.
Yeah,
but yeah, and a lot of like character actors that do some of these other voices.
Yeah, the mailman from Cheers and some other guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a good one next week on the show. But until then, the rebelradiopodcast.com for all your Rebel Radio needs as always. And we do appreciate you for listening each and every week. And until next time, continue to be safe. And this has been Mark.
This has been Matt.
Remember, as always, just go there and do it.